Drew Harrison, who found inspiration in a not-so-formal education, traveling abroad to start a local farm-to-school program.
Man, you guys have some pretty big life decisions ahead of you coming up here before too long, huh? About to graduate high school, moving on to college, the best 4 years of your life, and then before you know it, that real world is going to smack you right in the face, and it's time to get a job, right? And I know because I was there once too. I was in and out of college and then found myself here before too long in cubicle world, staring at a computer screen for 12 hours a day and thinking to myself, how in the world did I get here? But I ended up finding my way, next slide, and found some inspiration and founded the Green Heart Project, which is a farm-to-school program based here in Charleston. It's what we look to do is reconnect students back to what fresh produce is all about. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a pretty serious diet-related epidemic going on in our country. You know, we're the fattest country in the world, and there's food deserts all over the place where people don't have access to the fresh fruits and vegetables that we all need in order to have a healthy lifestyle. So we look to do that. So anyways, this is my office space now, this rad urban garden that I get to kick it with those rugrats you guys saw in their previous slide on a pretty regular basis. And, I had no idea in college that I was passionate about farm-to-school program or that I wanted to build a cool urban farm like this. College prepares you guys, it prepares all of us with a phenomenal education that is unequivocal to being successful in the real world. But that's not the only thing you need in the real world. You also need to be inspired. And sometimes you can't really find that in the classroom. Sometimes you guys got to get outside of the bubble in order to find out what it is that ignites you. And there's a saying that goes, you can't see the forest standing in the trees, and I think that's so true. Sometimes you need to go get lost in the world, like our buddy did for 10 days, in order to find out what inspires you. And in order to create that urban farm in front of Mitchell Elementary School in downtown, I wasn't inspired, and I couldn't envision that looking at the school or standing outside there. I had to go to this garden here, which is, next slide, in the middle of the rainforest in Costa Rica on the Caribbean coast. And it is, you can go to the next slide, called Punamona. It is completely off the grid. The nearest town is a 3-hour trek through the rainforest, or out of the rainforest, I should say, to get there. The fresh water you drink, you harvest. The amount of electricity you have that day depends on how cloudy it is. And how well you eat depends on how you harvest and what you can catch in the ocean that day. So this organic farm and education center puts an emphasis on sustainable agriculture, and it teaches those principles in a hands-on, fully immersed program. You don't read about it in a book and take the exam at the end of the class. You literally do it every day. And you practice it and become a part of the ecological and the agricultural processes that produce the food that you eat. Next slide. So I went down there and I was fully immersed for 2 months and learning all about sustainable agriculture and how it fits in this one closed loop. We harvested everything that we ate. We cooked everything that we grew. We cooked everything that we harvested. If you wanted to take a warm shower, you had to jump in the ocean. If you made sure you carried a machete around with you wherever you went, we were straight up jungle living. That's where I was living for 2 months in that little casita there. But one thing that it taught me a little bit more than just about sustainable agriculture. It taught me unequivocal gratitude for the labor that goes into food production. It taught me respect and humility for nature. It taught me, it reconnected me to the food we ate in a way that blew my mind. These are mamachinos, my favorite fruit, and I was blown away by them because I had never even known that these Dr. Seuss koosh ball of a fruits existed until I got down there. These are one of 75 different varieties of bananas that were growing on this permaculture farm and food forest, and I was embarrassed to say that I couldn't count on 10 fingers how many varieties of fruits and vegetables we could grow in our own backyard here in Charleston. So I pondered this as I continued traveling for an additional 9 months, and I went from Panama City all the way up to Mexico City, and I was blown away by the food culture that existed in Central America. There were markets that were open all day, every day, serving fresh, organic, local produce, not necessarily because that's what was trending at Whole Foods, but that was just the way it was down there. If you wanted some fresh chicken, you could buy them live in a sweetgrass basket. You wanted some extra parts of the cow with your steak, you could buy every single part of the cow. It was amazing. Each city and each country created their own identity around food, and it was full of pride. Festivals and fiestas, next slide, were all around food. Everybody cooked, everybody ate. That was the celebration. And next slide, my entire traveling experience, immersed in this culture and soaking it in, could not have been taught to me in a book or even taught to me on a YouTube video for that matter. It ignited this passion in me to come back and be a change agent in my own culture and share what I learned to make a difference. So I came home, I got a pretty needed haircut, and my vision became pretty clear on what I wanted to do in this real world. And I'm not necessarily telling you guys that you need to come volunteer with us out at the urban farm, and I'm not necessarily telling you guys you need to jump into sustainable agriculture because that's the end-all be-all, or even go get lost in a jungle somewhere. What I'm really encouraging you guys to do is just to travel. Because when it comes down to it, the real world that's out there that you guys are about to jump into is this amazing planet that we live on. And there are so many amazing things going on in this planet that you have no idea about until you go there and you experience it for yourself. College will present to you some amazing opportunities to jump, study abroad, go on an alternative spring break trip, and there are countless opportunities more to dive in headfirst somewhere around the world. And I guarantee you each one of those opportunities will take your paradigm of the world and turn it on its head. And viewing the world upside down is a priceless education, and I guarantee you will ignite in you something that will want you to make you to change the world. Thank you.